Hello everyone. I'm going to share a little section of my book again today. So thank you for being here and I hope you enjoy it. This is the book cover, A Daughter's Plea, Letters to My Mother. And you can find it on my website at www.kimjsigurdson.ca. There's different avenues you can take to purchasing it that's on the website. So if you're interested, have a little look around. All right, so here we go with this little section. It was kind of weird going on our honeymoon before we were married, but it would have been too hard to go once the baby was born. It was already planned and paid for, so we just went and made the best of it. It was the beginning of September 2005 when we landed in Mexico. I was 6 months pregnant. I loved the bathing suit I'd bought for the trip. It was bright pink, and the part that covered my belly was a bit sheer. I might have been pregnant, but I wasn't going to Mexico for the first time not looking a bit sexy. Even though everything hadn't worked out as I'd planned, I told myself it was going to be an enjoyable trip with hot, sunny days and good food. One of my favorite days during our holiday was the day I spent painting that fish-shaped plate and a bowl right on the edge of the beach at our resort. It was the first time I had ever painted anything, I shared. I remember you showing me those, my mom recalled. I sat at that painting station for hours while Richard laid on the beach drinking pina coladas for the both of us, I laughed. He just kept coming up and checking on me to see if I was done yet. So cute, I smiled. I'm glad you finally did something creative for yourself, Jackie. They looked great, my mom commented. Thanks, I blushed. They weren't too bad for my first time. Speaking of dishes, let's just leave them here for now, I suggested. I want to enjoy the sun while it embraces us with its presence. You go ahead, sweetie. I'll just put some of this away and then come join you, she explained. I'll grab us a coffee and meet you out on the porch. When my mom joined me outside, I continued to tell her about a dinner cruise Richard and I went on while we were in Mexico to a mountainside where we enjoyed a beautiful heritage dance about love. It was so sensual, and the stage was set right in the mountain, like half of a cave, sort of, I explained. Afterward, we devoured a lovely dinner on the mountain's edge overlooking the water. It was just so beautiful. It was quite romantic, really. On the boat on our way back, Richard might have enjoyed himself a little too much, indulging in drinks for the two of us, I laughed. That was the first time he voluntarily danced with me in front of everyone. In fact, it was one of the first times I had ever seen him let loose. He seemed so happy. It was nice to be spending some quality time, just the two of us, without all the regular stresses in our lives. I really haven't seen him like that ever since, I frowned. Our lives were so chaotic. One evening, while we were enjoying a nice conversation over dinner with another couple, we were told that about a mile down from the resort, there was a little setup where a local college was doing a study about turtles. After the turtles came up onto the beach to lay their eggs in the sand, the students put a wire rack over the top of the area until they hatched. Once they hatched, they put them into a big wooden box up above the sand. This was to protect them from their predators. Then, once it was dark, the students released the baby turtles into the sea. But they couldn't do it all by themselves. There were hundreds of them to release at a time, so they appreciated when volunteers showed up to help. I was so excited when that couple told us about it, I laughed. I had read that you could pay to do this through the resort, but it was over $100 each. When we found out that you could do it for free, we decided to go that evening after dinner. It was a bit of a ways up the beach, but it was a nice evening for a walk barefoot in the sand. It was already dark and the moon was shining down onto the ocean. Once we got to the spot where they released the turtles, the students explained to everyone what we had to do. Surprisingly, there were quite a few of us. It's a good thing because there were a lot of baby turtles to be released. We had to make sure our hands were washed with the special soap, and then we were directed to stand along a line that one of the students drew in the sand. Then we were all given 3 or 4 little turtles to release. That was so fun, I smiled. It was funny to watch the little buggers figure out their way to the sea, and you weren't allowed to help them. They told us that they had to find their own way down to the water because if they didn't, they wouldn't know where to go when they came back to lay their own eggs. When I think about those little turtles finding their way down to the water all by themselves, it makes me think of the journey we all need to take in life. When we do things on our own, learning and making mistakes along the way, it builds endurance, confidence, and independence with ourselves. The strength and courage to move forward in life, trusting that we will be okay. Besides me getting a gastrointestinal bug while we were there, the trip was really nice. Just one word of advice: don't trust the ice in the restaurants. After Richard and I enjoyed our beautiful 2 weeks in Mexico and settled back at home, I gave up on the idea of being married before our baby was born. We only had a few more months left, and he was going away for work for a couple of weeks. I really struggled with it all. I was so confused as to what the holdup was. Richard never shared anything about what was going on with his daughter or his ex-wife. I had so many questions, but I gave up on trying to ask. He always told me that I had enough to worry about and didn't need to worry about his stuff. So I just tried to focus on the other stuff going on in my life. In January 2006, I went into labor. While I was pregnant, Richard and I agreed that Selena and Braylon could be in the room for the birth. Unfortunately, we didn't plan it very well. The third time around, it seemed to go quite fast for me. I had been in labor for a few hours and decided to relax in my parents' big soaker tub again. I found in the past that the hot water really helped with the contractions. The hot water was so soothing that I didn't realize how strong my contractions were getting. All of a sudden, it felt like the baby was coming. Richard helped me climb out of the tub to get dried off and dressed. That was rough. And that's where I'm going to leave it. I hope you enjoyed that little segment, and I look forward to reading you another section soon. And if you're interested, going to my website is a good place to purchase the book and get to know me a little bit, see what I do. There's other stuff on my website that is helpful for healing, like meditation videos and stuff. So yeah, head over and check it out. Thanks for being here, and I look forward to next time. Sending you love. Bye-bye.